Hi everyone, it's Evan. Chapter 11, The Young Child. So many of you talked about all of the physical attributes of students, the cognitive, there are on page 322 atypical development patterns that you'll want to pay attention to and understand those. And so let's go back to start at the beginning. Chapter 11. Perceptual, motor, and physical development. So in your assignment, in your discussions, you had to outline these and identify these. What you didn't talk about was health and nutrition that I want to touch on a little bit here with you. So flip through page 324, 325. Talks about the relationship between physical and motor development and cognitive development. Notice how important that is, and for one's own health and safety. Gender awareness, be very up to date on what's happening here. As you know, there are a lot of people who talk about these issues. There's a lot of information now, research. Young boys in the morning have higher testosterone than they do in the afternoon, and yet that's the time when we ask them to sit still. Even in school, they still have high testosterone. They need to be moving, and that's when we have them doing reading and math. We ought to look at this research and see how that impacts them. Okay, so starting on nutrition, I want to start with you all on page 326, under healthy routines. Notice what it says towards the bottom about the overscheduled child, and of course it lists all the things. But why is this significant? What's going on in their lives that we're being aware of this and that we're alarmed? They say here that the amount of time in vehicles being transported to many places and activities is very excessive. These children are starting to turn down their emotions after stressful, exciting events. They're not learning how to transition between these events and their up feelings and their waning feelings. They're having a hard time with knowing how to monitor those feelings, and they're losing their interest and joy in their daily activities. So why do we overschedule? Why do we think that that is an important thing, that they have things to do all the time? Where did that come from, that idea? Talk about nutrition. So the second paragraph says, because preschool children have decreased their intake of milk and so forth and iron-fortified foods, their levels have really dropped in those things. And so they haven't developed a taste for a variety of things. So I want to ask you, why do you think that they're not having these things in their diets? Why aren't they getting milk and fortified cereals? Don't they like those things? What has changed there for them as well? Why do you think it's important that they develop, as it says here, a taste for a wide variety of foods? Why do we need a wide variety of foods? Think about your own health. What's happening when you get a wider variety as opposed to the same thing every night, every day? There are developmental explanations for the behaviors about why their appetites are waning as they get older. So they talk about the growth patterns here, and that they're growing obviously less rapidly than when they were infants and toddlers. And also look what's happening for them socially. This mealtime is a great time to visit and talk, and they love that, and they like to eat around that, and they are happy. And when their hearts are happy while they're eating, their bellies are happy. And that's, now the research says, this is our second brain. The gut is the second brain. And if we're not treating this brain well, and look where it's near. Look what the stomach is near. It's right near the vasovagal, in our hearts. This is what's causing a lot of anxiety when we're not getting healthy nutrition in there and the probiotics. And so what's happening at mealtimes here, look at the bottom. When they're hurried and stressed, hurry, eat your food, hurry, don't talk. Like a lot of schools were trying to implement no talking lunchtimes. What's the point of that? They can't talk during the day when they're in class. They need to have some sort of outlet. I would be resentful as an adult if I were told I could talk, unless of course I'm on a spiritual retreat, then that's another thing. So let's look at page 328 there. Some childhood food preferences. I want to go through these. Childhood food preferences reflect the following: cultural practices and preferences. Think about cultures, that sit on the floor or eat with their hands, or don't eat after sundown. Or there are some cultures where they're not allowed to taste the food while they're cooking because it hasn't been given to the gods yet. So they have to learn to cook by recipes. Peer and sibling influences. If big brother or big sister doesn't like something, does that impact the way that they're going to view that food? Television and other media advertising. Have you ever been watching something and a chocolate commercial comes on and you're rooting around your house for some chocolate? So we're impacted also by the media. Naturally occurring fluctuations in the child's interest in certain foods. So as they grow older, they learn to like something. When I was a kid, I didn't like lima beans. I didn't like spinach like I do now. My own taste buds have evolved and matured. Transitory food jags. So they'll want to eat nothing but chicken nuggets or nothing but hot dogs or nothing but macaroni and cheese. Sometimes we just get on a spurt, or sometimes we avoid something. When my boys were really little, I put them in their high chair with frozen peas. They loved them, frozen peas or raisins. And they would just, go through phases of eating those. The child's ability to manage the food, ease and self-feeding, chewing, swallowing, those are things that impact what they're going to be eating too. What has ease? Obviously, that's why we carry Cheerios, because they aren't messy like mangoes. Mangoes are slippery and they leave your hand sticky, whereas a Cheerio is dry, and once you've eaten it, your hand isn't messy. We have to watch for food allergies, especially with peanuts and dairy. I had a child in kindergarten who, oh my goodness, we had to have the room specially cleaned because of the dairy from the year before, and I couldn't bring in any milk for the children for snack time because this child was so deathly allergic to milk. So we have to watch for those. And keep going. There's a bunch there that you'll want to pay attention to. And last, look at that. Everything on your plate. Why do we have to eat everything on our plate? And I want to challenge you as an adult. When you're full, stop eating. And if you say to yourself, well, I don't want it to go to waste, I want you to think of this. What's better? To put the food in the garbage can or to treat your body like a garbage can? If you're done with this food, are you going to eat it because you don't want to waste it, or why can't you throw it away? Either way, that food is going somewhere. Do you want to use your body as the garbage can? So think about that clean plate thing. Let people regulate their own eating. All right, there's lots to enjoy in this chapter, but I'm going to stop here. Thank you, everyone, and it's great to see you. Come see me. Oh, and if you have any questions about the final exam, I'd love to help you with that too. I've posted an article for you to read. I hope you enjoy it. Bye-bye.